back to another week of the Take. I'm Bill Gannon.
And I'm John Spinato.
And we're going to be discussing tonight Article 92. And it's a movie that's coming out early next year. And we want to get to that. But first we want the introduction of the stars of the movie. And we'll start with Marty first.
Hey everybody, Marty Monsteraski. I'm one of the actors in the movie. I play Sergeant Major Barry.
Hey guys, Joe Hawk here. I'm the writer, director, producer of Article 92 and founder of Hawk Studios.
What's going on, guys? My name is Tristan Rizzuto, and I play the role of Delta Operative Jacobs.
So Joe's movies are, let me tell you, they're a roller coaster ride from 5 minutes in to 5 minutes to the end, and you never know what's going to happen. And it's funny because as a format, as a script, it's all there, but then he has all these things that happen in between that come out later on. He's very secretive with his scripts, and he never really tells any of us how it's going to end, where it's going to go. And even this one, he could tell you that, you know, filming stopped about 2 weeks ago, and then it's going to start up in about 2 weeks again to film one more scene. So that's Joe in a nutshell. Yeah. So if you could tell us a little bit about the movie, Joe.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us on the Take. Thanks, John. Thanks, Bill, for having us here, and Marty and Tristan for coming as well. We're going to talk a little bit about the film. But Article 92, as you saw before, this is our film here. You can see our alien in here. We had a custom alien made by Rob Zupkowski from Arizona. And basically, it's kind of like a military sci-fi thriller, guys. And it's basically about a civilian. His name is Dan Ravenport, played by Stephen Hugg. And he's a kind of like a journalist, alcoholic. Right, he's having some rough patches, and he decides to go on a long trip down this long road in New Hampshire. And ultimately, to give you a Reader's Digest version, he sees something on the roadway, and you know, this alien, this is a national security secret, guys. So U.S. Army was there doing a training exercise at the same time, and they basically bring him in for questioning. This guy saw something. He knows it. We know it. Dan Ravenport is now brought into Fort Braxton, a military base, to basically find out what he knows about what he saw on the roadway. And that's basically kind of what the film is about, and there's a subplot we can talk about as well.
I want to talk a little bit with the actors too, and we'll start with Marty. I worked on a film before with Marty. Super nice guy, super talented. No ego, really. It's funny, because when I worked with him, I was like, I didn't know this big dude. I was like, just found out he was a wrestler tonight, so I was like, wow, this is cool. And but had a lot of fun working on the last set with him. Wasn't on set with him this time, but we're still in the same movie, so it's a lot of fun. If you could explain your character and what you got, how you got into acting, and you know, what do you think?
Sure. All right. Well, thank you. And I was a wrestler. No,
yes.
No longer a wrestler, but a long time ago. So my character is Sergeant Major Barry. So I get approached by Sergeant Miller, who gets an order to kill Dan Ravenport, and so I pretty much let Sergeant Miller know, look, this is an unlawful order. This is not something that you should be doing. So me and Sergeant Miller and my character, we actually go and try to protect Dan Ravenport from getting murdered.
Right.
So you know, after that we go on a pretty much a cat and mouse chase, protecting Dan Ravenport. As far as me, as far as how long I've been doing this, I've been doing this. I started late, actually. Started about 2 years ago. I was in my 40s, and I wanted to be an actor all my life, so I finally started to you know, go out and pursue my dream. So I found a local acting school, so I got signed up to the Actors Gym over in Hamden.
Yes,
I'm sure you're familiar. Led by, it's ran and operated and owned by Reno Ventori, who took me under his wing. He's my coach, my mentor. Very sportive guy, very talented guy, and you know, so I've been with him ever since. And you know, between Reno and the Actors Gym and Joe giving me an opportunity to actually be in my first lead role. Thank you, Joe, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
With the Last Stop, it's been been a blast. You know, last couple of years been a real blast.
Excellent. And Tristan, if we can go to you and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, the role I play is Delta Operative Jacobs, which is essentially this badass guy that only has one goal in mind, and that is to take down Dan and his brother and serve justice, of course. And you know, I can't wait for you guys to see that. But yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to act ever since I was a kid. Never really had the chance or opportunity to until I graduated high school. Only then after I stumbled across Backstage.
Right.
I'm sure you guys know what Backstage is. So, you know, I found, actually, it's funny how I found Joe. It was through our friend Ryan, our mutual friend Ryan.
Yep.
And I was just a background role with him, right? I was just a background actor with Ryan, and he was talking to me, you know, about, you know, all these opportunities that we can, you know, have, and he was writing up, you know, a film called A Stranger in Town, and I was like, listen, Ryan, you don't need to tell me anything, man. Just, you know what, tell me when and where, I'll be there. Give me any role you want. And you know, Joe so happened to be the director, and I met him there, and through that networking, I met Joe, and I said, listen, I told him the same thing. I was like, listen, Joe, I don't care what it is, whatever project you have, whatever that's coming, you know, tell me what you want, and I'll be there. And that's how I landed the role here. And thank you, Joe, again for the opportunity to be here. But yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, no, that's Joe too, and I think it's great because he allows everybody to be in it, and I think that's one of the greatest things. And he always takes advice. You know, I know it's his movie, and he's going to go his direction with it, but he's not afraid to say, yeah, well, let's try shooting it that way, and let's do it this way and try it. And hey, sometimes it gets in there, sometimes it doesn't, but it's always great to, you know, at least you can bounce ideas off him, and he'll be right there to kind of take that and say, hey, yeah, that's not a bad idea, let's do that. So, and John, do you have any questions for Joe? 'Cause I know you have one.
Joe, you know, the guys are sitting to the right and to the left of you here, great guys, just, you know, and getting in touch with them is always awesome. Question I would have is, I mean, I'm not sure how involved you got in the casting, but why'd you pick these guys?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, you know, the casting is very important. For this film, we had an audition process, right? So I met most of my cast. I think it was at the public library that we sorted out, and then we held auditions for certain roles. So at that point, I had like a laundry list of, I don't know, I think there was maybe 15 roles.
Oh, wow.
And you know, each person that came had an opportunity to do the roles, and I would videotape it.
Okay.
So that's important to watch it back to see how these guys did.
Yeah.
And this is where I saw Marty actually. I believe for the first time I met him was at that audition, and he doesn't know the story I'm about to tell him. But so I see this guy out here, right? This guy, I never met him. He's pumped. He's excited. I can see it. So I'm like looking for Marty. I'm like, where'd Marty go? I see him in like, you know, kind of like going in the hallway. He's like pumped. He's ready to go. I'm like, this guy is ready. Like he's pumped. He's ready to go. And he killed the audition. That's how you find the magic right there, right? Is you see these guys, what their mindset is, right? Because a lot of it too with the actors is that when you're in a film, you don't really know how comfortable they are, right? What better way to have cameras on? I'm recording this, and you know, there's people watching. That makes you feel uncomfortable. That's what you really want. That's where you find stars, is when you film, you want that because there's all these outside elements you don't know. You have rain, you have on set, you have people that might wander on your set, right? You have uncontrollable conditions, airplanes, trains, all these things going on, and that really makes or breaks the movie. So that's why I wanted to do the auditions, to see these people, find these people, and some of it through mutual friends. That's where I met Tristan, through Ryan. You find all these people, and a lot of the people I worked with before. Bill Gannon's actually in the film as well, our Bill over here. He plays basically, he plays one of the guys, one of the good guys, who helps Brad Ravenport and Dan Ravenport go against the U.S. government who's trying to kill them. So he plays one of the good guys in the film. So you're going to see Bill literally rolling around, fighting, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's going to be a great guy. So that's to answer your question. That's kind of how we do for our process.
All right. Okay. So there's a whole list of other guys that didn't get it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's tough. Casting's never easy, but you know, when you have a vision for the role, you in my head I have a vision of like how people look, how people act, their range. Because when you act, it's not all about the words or, in the script. It's not about reading the script. It's becoming the character, right? And a lot of that is not conveyed just about the words. It's about facial expressions, emotions, what you do with your eyes, or how you convey the line. Not just say the line, but pausing and really doing certain things with the role. And that's what they look for as well.
Right. Wow.
I didn't audition. I begged though.
That was your audition.
Yeah, it was like, can I be in this one? I really want to be in this one. But you have to understand, I mean, he took this one to a new level.
You're right.
And when I started with Joe, and it went back a couple of years ago, and like I said, he was about 6 states, maybe 7 states for the first one that we were in with Reflections. And we're sitting there, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this guy's unbelievable. He's bouncing from Wallingford, Connecticut today to Maine, then to Pennsylvania, and he's just shooting these scenes. It was just supposed to be like an hour and maybe a half movie or something like that, and turned into a series. It was like, wow, we had so much footage that he's like, no, we're gonna do a series instead. And then this one, and I'll let Joe explain it. It was like he went across the pond. Yeah, so I mean, this is big. We've upped the ante a lot in this one. So, and I don't want to take credit for it. It's all on him. So Joe can explain that.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit of story about that. Is when I'm like scouting, Bill also helps me out with location scouting as well when I get into a pinch. But I look for certain things, and I had my mind on the poster. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Well, I'll hold it up for a minute, but try to avoid the glare here. But right where my finger is on this side, he plays the U.S. president. His name is Bruce Church, and Bruce Church. Yep, there we go. Bruce Church is an actor from Rhode Island. Bruce Church plays U.S. President Lowell. Thank you for the zoom. And what Bruce does is, I said, Bruce, hey, listen. I think you'd be great for the U.S. president. We did a lot of auditions for that, but when I was talking to Bruce for the role, I said, hey, Bruce, do you want to go to London? I didn't tell him why. I just said, do you want to go to London? And he's like, yeah, I've been there before. What we got going on? I'm like, well, I think you'd be great for the U.S. president. I need you to go to London with me to film that scene, and I also need you to film at the Air Museum in Windsor Locks. We filmed behind, millions and billion-dollar airplanes, and he was just, a very powerful role. So the reason we went to London was they have a replica Oval Office of, the White House. It's there in London.
Wow.
So we rented out the space. I contacted them down there. It's October Studios. They just got bought out recently. And I went down there. I said, hey, this is what we're doing. I'd love to come down there.
Yeah.
I know you have it available. Here's when I want to film in November. I gave them the date. And we did some paperwork and bought the airline tickets. Next thing you know is I'm saying, Bruce, I'll meet you in London. I'm going to get a car. I'll pick you up. And the other thing about last time I went to London was not for filming. It was kind of for basically my own purposes. So I never drove in London. So I had to pick people up. So this is an experience, guys. I'm driving, I would say on for me, the wrong side of the road, the right side of the road for them, right? Yeah. And not just like going 40 minutes. I'm going like 2-3 hours to pick people up in a foreign country, right? That's an experience in itself, right? Gosh, and then all my equipment, and I'm going there. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. And then I get back to the U.S. I'm going on the wrong side of the car because the steering wheel is, it's on the other side. So I'm getting used to that and all these other things, But
somehow that will turn out to be a movie.
It might be. It might be.
It's going to be that. Bruce, I don't know if you got one on deck, but if we go to one of the trailers right now, we're going to take a look at that and see these guys in action. So
perfect.
There you go.
Approximately 2,300 hours of concert in New Hampshire, a training exercise became a national security threat.
This is Dan Rappaport. Did you talk to him? He spoke. He saw something. He knows it. We know it. They want him dead.
Why?
Civilian took a picture of an alien. End of story.
The general asked me to kill this guy. So an unlawful order, you could still lead to criminal prosecution. I'm not going to do that. I didn't sign up for this. I've got a plan.
Time for setup. Dan Rappaport will be on the national news as the person who tried to kill the vice president. Get a mercenary. Have a U.S. Army member do it. I don't care. Whatever it takes.
We have to make his death look like an accident for the red, white, and blue. The flag lead all under. So be it.
Recently were fired from your job.
Yeah.
You have a brother named Brad. Haven't talked to him in years. Your wife's on the verge of leaving you. Am I right?
We know you took pictures. What did you take pictures of?
Mostly nature.
You know, you could take your deal and yourself.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, these guys were humble people in that. You can see how, they really get into their roles and they get into their characters and things like that. And I want to ask you, did you have any, like, inspiration, like, going into it? Did you say, I'm going to play it like maybe this guy, or play it like this, or just, I'm going to do it this way? How'd you work out with that?
Well, as far as me is, I'm a big Chuck Norris fan,
Okay,
like
yeah.
the Delta Force type thing. So
Oh, yeah.
when I was envisioning this movie, I immediately went to Delta Force, and I'm like, okay, I don't even know what the movie's about, but I'm like, all right, I want to be like the Chuck Norris character.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Chuck.
Nothing wrong with Chuck,
Chuck,
yeah.
But so I kind of wanted to go in at it like that. So I kind of used that aura from Delta Force and some other action-packed military movies, and so I knew it was going to be this Sergeant Major guy. So
Yeah.
I needed to be pretty badass. So
You look at I have to say, it was funny, because we're sitting here watching it. John and I were like, and like I said, I've been in the movie, but I haven't been in a scene with you in this one, and it's just like, you're going to knock it out of the park, and Tristan, you did too. Like,
I appreciate that, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, did you have any inspiration, like, with your character? Yeah, who'd you have?
Like Marty said, I wouldn't say a particular person in mind that I drew inspiration from, but Joe mentioned, I asked him, listen, like, what's the role? And he said mercenary, and that one word, I was like, okay, so I just got to be like exactly what I am right now, but not that. Like, I got to be the completely exact opposite of what I am right now. So I bulked the fuck up, man.
Yeah.
I was every single day. I was going to the gym. I was eating protein. I was eating. I don't know how much I was eating, but a lot. And I had to grow out the hair, the beard. I had to completely transform for this movie. But I believe it was worth it 100%. It was an incredible experience doing that. But yeah, it's incredible.
Did it make you more nasty? Is that what you're trying to get? You're trying to get a little more
absolutely
edgy?
Method acting at its finest,
Yeah,
I believe. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I was
you
just
really
like,
felt it?
really felt it. Yeah, like I said, I was working out like a madman. Protein. I mean, I was eating children for protein. Mostly, I heard they're great for protein. So at least 2 a day. But yeah, like I said, I was just trying to get into that mindset. I mean, something huge like this and such a huge role for me. This is the first huge role I've gotten. Right? I had to commit.
Yeah.
I had to commit to that, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Did you kind of? I mean, I've never really done acting, but I've done like getting in front of people and just gave it, a good blast.
100%.
What I'm trying to say is, like, did you like have that feeling like those people in your face all the time?
100%.
And like how I would handle it if they were right here, right now.
100%.
That whole attitude.
100%. Listen, this is all acting. We know that, but when it comes to the actual fight scenes, it's just like, like, I actually want to beat him up. You know what I mean? Like, I want to beat him up, right?
Yeah, 'cause you
and
have
it's
to be there.
absolutely, and it's so funny because in that one fight scene that I had with Dan's brother, he actually hit me. And in the first take that we did, I don't even think it made it, but he actually hit me, clocked me right here. Ooh. And I didn't even feel it. I didn't even feel it at the time because, ask me why, because there was so much adrenaline going on in that moment. I was just like, all right, did he hit me? I don't even know if he hit me, right? And I was like, all right, you know what, whatever. Let me just get like with the scene, right? And so we got the scene done, and it looked amazing, and felt great. And when we were done shooting that day, I went back home, and I was feeling like something was like swollen on the right side of my face, and I went in the mirror, and the whole this side, the whole right side was just puffed up.
Yeah.
Just swollen up. The whole swollen up. And I was like, all right, well, I don't feel any injury here. And I looked inside my mouth, and there was just a hole. There was just a hole there where he hit me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's what it is. That's what it is. But commit. You do. Commit. Gotta commit to it.
Well, there's so much action. I don't even.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's funny because it goes crazy.
Oh,
I mean, you have chaos sometimes on the set. You don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Maybe people thought about this. I never really got the answer, but I always had it in my head. Does like the scene just like he's talking about? What do you do? Just go like action? And these guys have to just go like from zero to warp speed?
That's a great question. So we have stunt coordinators on set that help us figure out my vision, right? So kudos to Sean Burke. He's a stunt coordinator from Maine. He's actually like a black belt in karate too, so that helps. And then Lewis is right here in Connecticut, and they're both stunt coordinators. So we do a lot of rehearsals depending on the scene and what we have. Make sure everything goes smoothly and practice certain techniques. The day in Hawley where Tristan was at, we had like a lot of different fight scenes. Like we had this girl come, a shout out to, she played this character, Jasmine. And basically there's parts you didn't see her do, but there's another part where we worked on a scene where she leg locked them. She jumped up on these rafters, leg locked them, and flipped them this way. Like Brad's a big guy, right? Like, and flipped them right over, and then she just started going to town on him. And basically we have a lot of that going on, a lot of the fighting and rehearsals. We did just a lot of different just stunts, and not just fighting stunts. We flipped a car on its roof, right? I mean, that's just crazy. We had police there. We blocked the road in Bristol. We're not like Hollywood yet. We didn't have 4 or 5 stunt cars, right? We had one car. We had one shot to do this stunt right. Otherwise, we're going to go home with our tail between our legs, right? It all worked out beautifully. The weather was great. We did that. So there's a lot of different stunts and a lot of different action in this film. It's action-packed, a lot of stunts. And not just that, there's a lot of inspiration. Like, so when I wrote the screenplay, this is fully original. There's not a movie out there. You won't find a movie like this. I mean, sci-fi, action, cat and mouse. So there's a lot of inspirations that helped me kind of mold the script. There's probably, I'm going to name 3 films. You probably have seen them all, I would hope. If not, I'll just kind of briefly describe them. One is Arrival of Charlie Sheen. That was in the 90s about the alien signal, right? So there's basically a scene in that where the government, they're trying to kill all these loose ends, right? They cut a brake line, right, and kill someone, right? So I thought, I want something where like the government's trying to kill people, and I could tie an alien to it. The other movie is Crimson Tide with Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington, right? Remember where they had the conflict between the 2 captains, right, taking over the ship? Same thing here. We have conflict with Miller and the U.S. Army, right? So I wanted to incorporate something like that, but not really like that movie on the submarine. That's U.S. Navy. This is U.S. Army. And then the other film, which was very relatable to my screenplay, which I kind of got an idea from, is Alec Baldwin, Bruce Willis, Mercury Rising. When the kid cracked the source code in the I think it was a crossword puzzle.
He was autistic.
He was autistic. He called the 800 number, and this is $1 billion secret. And this 8-year-old, now the CIA, they're trying to kill the NSA. They're trying to kill this kid. So I wanted that incorporation where the U.S. government, they're going to stop at nothing to kill Dan Ravenport. So those 3 movies really inspired to where we got with Article 92. A little tidbit there.
And there was also a road closing for another scene, correct?
Many road closings. So the car flipping, the car flipping scene in Bristol. We closed the roads, obviously, to flip a car. I picked the road out in Bristol, and when I pick roads, I don't want to piss people off, right? So the road that I picked, there's no businesses on it. There's no houses on it. I don't want to interrupt businesses. I don't want to interrupt people's lives. That's important to me. So there's a lot of meticulous planning when I do this, as I don't want to, try to interrupt people's lives. So I purposely picked Clark Avenue in Bristol, because it's this woods, and when you block it up here and you block it down here, there's no impact to the public or businesses. That's important to me as a filmmaker. I want to do my film, but I want to make other people happy and not pissed off.
Yeah.
And then we also blocked roads in Watertown, Connecticut at Echo Lake. We had some drone coverage. We had a scene down there. We had a Ford Ranchero, which you don't see a lot of those. That was one of the kidnap vehicles. Dan Ravenport's wife was in that scene as well.
Yeah.
So we did that. We closed roads over there, closed roads in Bristol, and then we closed roads in Woodbury. When we first saw the alien, we filmed from like 8 p.m. to like 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
State troopers are blocking the roads. We're firing like AR-15 blank firing weapons from like 11 p.m. to 4 in the morning. Right. So I said to the mayor who did this, we got approval and all this. I said, hey, what do you want from me to make sure everyone's safe? She's like, can you send letters to the residents? I said, I'd be happy to. I got a map, my Google Instant Street View. I looked. Okay, this person might hear it. Send 50 letters out to these residents.
Yeah.
Just to say, hey, I'm a filmmaker. On this date, it was October 14th. October 14th? Yeah, October 14th is when we did that scene.
Yeah.
I sent out the letters, and after we were done, I went to the state trooper. I said, hey, did anybody call it in? I'm curious.
Right.
Sent all these letters out. She's like, yeah, there was one old lady that said, I heard some gunfire. She called the cops. So there was one person we missed. I mean, it happens. I mean, I don't know like who's going to hear these gunfires, right? So we missed someone, but it happens. But that's the extent of all the road closures that we did.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Imagine that one person probably thinking, I thought they were going to stop. What's going on? Is a coup going on here? What's going on? Yeah.
Well, it's funny because that scene, I mean, we're talking, like I said, 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. We have military Hummers. We have 3 military vehicles.
Yeah.
Down this road, we have glowing lights. We have green. We have red. Right. And they're like, I'm sure the neighbor would be like, if maybe they didn't get the mail, they're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
Looking down their backyard to see all these gunfires and lights. And we have an alien in the roadway. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, they really thought it happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bruce, I don't know if you can go to the, we'll talk about Mario a little bit. There's the picture of Mario.
Yeah, it's one of the pictures in there. That's Mario.
We'll go to that.
It says Mario Canero on him when you open it. There he is.
So we want to pay our respects and our condolences to Mario. I didn't get the chance to work with him on this set, but 2 other movies I was on set with him, and super nice guy. Talented actor, and like I said, no ego at all, and always gave you just always something nice to say, and he always made it so easy for you to act on a scene with him. It was, I don't know if anybody else has worked. I know Joe has, but I don't know if you guys worked on a scene.
You worked with the last stop on
if you
with
could just say
Mario.
a couple of words about him, or.
So, I know him from the last stop, and I don't know him for that long, but for the time that I've worked with him, he was just the sweetest guy. I know, it was my first film that I've ever done, my first lead role. He really made me feel comfortable. He really, welcomed me as part of the group, and just the kindest and sweetest person that you can talk to. He invited us to the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
He paid for our drinks. He paid for everything, and that's the kind of guy that I remember Mario to be. So I wish he could be here and see the final product of this film, because he really
He's a big part of it. Yeah.
he really nailed it, and would have loved it for him to be here to see that. But I know he's watching. He's watching, and
He's smiling down on us.
yeah, and we'll miss him, and
Yeah, I mean, like to echo what Marty was saying, he was like a brother to me. I'm gonna probably get a little broken up for this. I knew Mario for a while. He was the executive producer on this film, and I've known him probably since 2019. I think I've known Mario many years. Executive producer in many of my projects. I miss him every day, and he is actually in this film. He plays Doug. He plays Dan Ravenport's boss at the Tribune Times. He actually fires him. This is literally Mario's last film everyone's going to see. So we wish Mario the best resting in heavenly earth in the heavens right now. I miss you, brother.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he's watching.
He was something special. He really was. And if we can go to the other picture too, because I just want to shout out to Joe's dad.
Yeah.
Now, I never met Joe's dad. I heard you talking to him a couple times on the phone, and I know he was calling in, and he was a big part of a lot of the soundtracks to the earlier films. And you know, God rest his soul. You know, too bad he couldn't be a part of this one, but I mean, it's another one we missed. But just brilliant when it came to hitting the music needed in a film.
You're right. Yeah, I miss my dad. And there's a story behind it. Is he did a lot of film composing for like Tony Martone. You can see up there. He did that. He did The Harvard Psychologist. He did the score for that. And a little bit of The Last Stop, I believe, as well. But yeah, I miss him every day. And there's a story behind it. Is you know, my father, Stephen McGee, graduate of Full Sail University for music. He's got a degree, and you know, we would spend many hours just going over music and ideas. And you know, there's something that happened was a lot of people don't know is he had nerve damage, so he couldn't really walk too well. So we would kind of work in his bedroom, his music studio, and basically what happened was when we did Tony Martone, I believe that was July 8th or July 9th. He couldn't make it. Obviously, he can't really walk too well. But after the big premiere, I mean, we had, I don't know, hundreds of people in this premiere in Stadium Theater in Woonsocket. He wasn't there. He's there with spirits. But I got this devastating phone call the next day. He passed away literally during the premiere. So it was like heartbreaking, right? So
bittersweet, right?
Yeah. So you know, the other thing about it too is with that, this is a crazy story. Before all this happened, we were McGee Productions. That's my name, Joe McGee. I'm Joe Hawk as my IMDb name. So basically, I think it was like a couple weeks later. I've never seen hawks, you know, near my house at all. There's a hawk that literally was sitting in my tree, like 4 feet in the air. I forgot my cell phone that day, so I left. I didn't even see him. Right, so I leave. I come oblivious to this hawk. I come back. It's the second time I came back. I see this thing. I thought it was an owl at first. It's probably like 5, 6 in the morning, so it's like kind of like dark, but not dark. It's kind of getting morning. And I'm like, what is that? So I get close. I'm like literally walking towards this animal, like this bird. I'm like, it's a hawk. I thought that was weird. I didn't really think of it, but this will make sense in a minute. He flies away, so I'm just scratching my head. And then as I'm going through my dad's stuff, he did a song called Rise in 2017, 5 years ago. I had a hawk on it. That's just like, is this a spirit animal? I don't know. And in the lyrics, this is what really just goosebumps in the lyrics. Rising up from the ashes, soaring high in the skies. Was it a premonition of where he would become? In that song, I'm like, wow, this is, you know, so I decided to rename McGee Productions to Hawk Studios in his honor, because I think Dad is there. And then there's a scene we did in Waterbury. It was at the Town Plot Auto. Kudos to Chris for allowing us to film there. Bill was there. Hawks were going nuts. There was these 2 hawks in the tree. They were just going like nuts. And then we saw the hawks again, and a couple times we were filming, and they're just like everywhere now. I've never seen them before. And then I think it was 2 days before Christmas. Guess what was in my backyard? A hawk. It's just crazy, you know. So like Christmas, what I did for my dad is I went there. People probably would think I'm weird, but I'm going. It's probably like 11 o'clock at night. My dad's buried. We got his headstone, right? And I go, it's like, you know, the ground's hard, but I don't care. I take this wooden stake, right? Put it in the ground. I'm like hammering it with a rock, but I busted out my knuckle, so I'm bleeding literally on my dad right now. Blood, sweat, and tears, as I say, right? And I put a hawk hat down on his grave, and that stayed there for a while until the ground keeps removed it. But I wanted him to be there to see the new brand. So that's my dad right there, guys. Yep.
Yeah, no, he's a big part of a lot of your movies, and I remember you just always talking so great about your father. I mean, it just, you know, he did a lot, and your brother was in a couple movies too, so we'll mention him. And
Yes.
So he's been in a few, so it's like a family affair too.
It is.
And Joe treats us all like family when we're out there, so it's one of those things. I think that you know, we get to, but we wanted to send off Dad in a positive way. But like you say, there's hawks all over the time, and I was there that one time, and it's like, you know, he's right there watching and being like, you're doing all right, son. So it's great. So.
The Hawk Studios sounds so much better than McGee.
You're right. It does. It really just
such a cooler name.
to it. It really does, and I'm glad we did it. And he's like, you know, like with me all the time now. I feel like his energy, you know, is there. And then like his song, Rise. Was on YouTube, but due to legal reasons, he passed away. His publishers took it down, but I still have the rights to it, so I publish it as the official song for Hawk Studios, our motto is Rise Up. According to my dad, rising up from the ashes and flying high through the sky. So, all good things, all good
Great
things.
sleep, too.
Yeah.
Do you have the second trailer, Bruce? No.
No, it should be on there, but it's not censored.
No, it's not.
No, it's
Okay,
not
so
censored.
we won't go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so if I'm afraid to ask Joe where he's going to go next because they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask if Marty, if you had an ideal role of what you want to play, what would it be?
My ideal role.
Wrestler.
Shoot. I mean, well, you know what? I always, you know, I'm an action fanatic. I always dream about being in some sort of an action film and just being the lead man of an action hero
That'd be
film.
fun.
You know, like you
The
know,
next James Bond right here.
well,
Yeah.
you know, my role models, you know, or I should say, you know, the actors that I look up to, Sylvester Stallone, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all those, you know, action stars, right?
Yeah.
So, and you know, and I'll just say it, I'll throw Chuck Norris in there, you know, I'll throw in there. I love some Chuck Norris films, but I even talked about, you know, me having my, you know, one of my guilty pleasures being Lone Wolf McQuade, and I love that movie so much that I would love to like do a remake of it, you know. But yeah, action, you know, I'd see myself in those kind of macho roles, you know.
Well, all those
love
guys. I mean, Stallone just turned 78 the other day. I think last week he was 78. So. Yeah, there's a lot of room for new guys to be coming in, so I think it's time for you to step in.
It would be great.
And Tristan, what about you?
Same exact answer, man. I mean, I love action. I love thriller. I love all film, man. I mean, to me, ideal role, probably a lead role.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like Marty said, man, I mean, I think it would be great. I would, you know, I'd be honored to have, you know, a lead role in like an action role. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. I mean, only time will tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Joe, we're afraid to ask where you're going to go, but
Yeah, you know, it's there's a lot of stuff formulated in my head right now. There is going to be some development on a film, and Bill knows a little bit about this, called When the Sun Dies. It actually was supposed to be before Article 92. When the Sun Dies was supposed to be before this, but there was some logistics, right? It's basically kind of end of the world biker themed motorcycle game. We have these biker jackets made up, but the logistics of like the clubhouse and the motorcycles, I had this good contact. He kind of went away out of state, so I kind of lost that connection. So I decided to pursue Article 92 first. With that being said, When the Sun Dies shall be next. Or it may not. Sometimes I just write stuff, like Bill said, you know, off Northfield. I'll just write it down, and here now we're shooting like a short film. Like for Bobby, that kind of happened by accident.
Yeah.
I wrote for Bobby. I was like doing some other things, and it was like a rainy day. I was like, oh, I got this cool idea for a film, and I just wrote for Bobby. It's like a 10-minute short out of nowhere. So there could be something out of the pipe that comes out. You got to be out. You know, you never know. So, but with that, there's something I really want to do. I eventually want to do a comedy, Bill.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So I might do a comedy. Yeah. And the other part where being a filmmaker is a lot of people will say, you know, do stuff you hate, right?
Yeah.
So for me, musicals, right?
Yeah.
I don't love them. I might just do a musical because I hate it. So that might happen, guys.
Probably turn out like Grease.
You never know.
Yeah,
so
really
I got it. Something brewing. I already wrote the screenplay in my head.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give too many details. It's called The Power of Love. It's a musical. I actually wrote it. It's already done. It's just a matter of putting that together. I wanted to get a high school. This was all kind of being developed. Remember, like COVID, right. Was here.
Yeah.
So I was actually going to film this, but a lot of the schools were like, "Hey, we have COVID. We can't film it. You can't do it here." I might revisit that now because COVID's kind of like it's with us, but it's more lenient now, right?
Side, yeah.
So yeah, a musical might happen, a comedy. When the Sun Dies is on that sci-fi action element. So there's so much brewing, guys.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So much brewing.
The labyrinth of the mind of the creator.
Yeah.
What can I say? What can I say?
Well said, because that's exactly what it is. Because you never know.
You never know
what direction he's going to come in, and you know, it's something. But like I said,
what a maze.
It's always a pleasure to work with these guys because they're, you know, true professionals. I know the actors, and they're just good guys. They're just, like,
Yeah,
fun
you
to
know,
work
and
with,
not
that's
just
it.
me though. You know, I challenge everyone to really go outside of the element of acting. I'm going to put Marty on the spot. He has a new project brewing. Betrayal.
Betrayal.
Why don't we talk a little bit about that? Because Marty actually wrote this,
Yeah.
and I want him to kind of tell people about it because I think it's
Yeah.
important. I think it's a really great story. So,
Got a few
yeah, tell the
minutes.
world about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, thank
Go
you,
ahead.
thank you, Joe, for
Yeah.
for that opening. So it's a passion project of mine. I've been trying to get this put together for years. Didn't know how I was gonna make it happen. You know, when I got into acting, you know, before I got into acting, I was like, man, you know, I really got this story in my head. I want to put together, and maybe I'll write a book. Maybe I'll write a novel, or you know, when I got into acting, I said, hey, you know, why not turn it into a screenplay, see what happens. And so I've been talking about doing this for years and years. So, you know, 2023 came, and one of the goals I set for myself was, you know what, no more horsing around. I'm going to put this thing together. I'm going to take some time. I want to make it happen. So it's a passion project of mine. It's about a family man who has his life turned upside down by betrayal. You know, really hits him hard, and it really turns his life upside down. But in the process, in him trying to mend himself, he has found love. He found somebody who really cares for him, really finds love. The problem with this character is that he doesn't feel he deserves it. He doesn't feel he deserves this love. So he finds himself always pushing everything that's good away. And so only time will tell if this new love will last, or will he keep it, or will he lose it? You know, that's pretty much in a nutshell.
That's a great premise.
Yeah.
That is a great premise. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people could relate to that too. So I think that's one of those
Sure.
things that you're going to look at and you say, wow, that's going to be that's kind of my life, you know. It's got a mirror image of me. What's going on, you know? So yeah, I think that's a great story, and yeah.
And part of it is you know, we often hear about you know, the woman getting betrayed. You know, that's like what we usually hear. You know, we don't really hear too often. We don't really see on screen too often the guy's perspective.
Right.
You know, the guy, the men getting betrayed. I mean, I'm sure there's maybe couple out there, but it's usually, you know, the women getting.
It's always the other way. Yeah.
So I think, you know, just like what you said, you know, it offers a fresh perspective and kind of gives people the, you know, a new point of view of, you know, how a guy deals with those types of heartaches and emotions and things like that. So.
And usually, like you say, you see that through a woman's eyes. You know, they always put it that way. It's a woman getting betrayed, and you see it through their eyes. And this way, you know, a man probably doesn't have, they'll always tell you, women always say they're more emotional. So this is cool to see it from a guy's point of view. Like you say, that's going to be, it's a breath of fresh air. You know, that's something that nobody's seen yet, and that's going to look pretty good.
It's a passion project of mine, something that, you know, it's actually, you know, borders on true life. So it's, you know, it comes from parts of my life. So I just put it out there on paper. So, you know, anything, you know, this whole thing when it comes out, it's going to be, my heart and soul is going to be in it. So.
That's awesome.
And a lot of times it's not actually a person that betrays you. It might be a situation that betrays you.
True.
You thought you were on your way to doing like a career or something, right?
Correct.
All of a sudden, whammo, out of nowhere, they knock you out. Now you start getting shy when it comes to really capitalizing on your opportunities. I could see where that would have a lot of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go all over with that one.
And Joe mentioned a premiere before, and I have to say, this guy puts on premieres. Like,
I
mean, these are, I mean, these.
Yeah.
Red
carpet. Red carpet.
Breaks out the
like Marty said, it's red carpet.
Meat on the table. Huh?
You know, you got the marquee lights, everything. I mean, he does it right. When he does it, you got the backdrop, so everybody takes pictures.
Yeah.
I mean,
Awesome.
it really is fabulous, and it's pretty cool. And it's something. I mean, I've been invited to him, and fortunately I got the COVID during one, and another time I had to work on another one, so I haven't been to him yet, but I mean the pictures alone, and I've never been to one, but I'm envious of you guys because they're awesome. Like, it's like, wow.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like Bill said, I mean, for this one, filmed like you saw in the trailer, probably a few minutes ago, February 2025, is the actual release date. So before it goes to streaming or distribution or wherever it's going to go, we have this big premiere. So it could be in Connecticut, it might be in Mass, Rhode Island, but that's not just a premiere for the actors, it's a public/actor premiere. How cool is it to sit with him or Marty or the lead, right? You guys are the public, you're sitting with the actors, right? And this is one night, and I call it an experience. It's not a movie, it's an experience, right? So we open up the doors, we have, as Bill said, we're on the marquee, right? We got our photo backdrop, right? Our sponsors are there, right? So if you're a local business in Wallingford or the Connecticut area or Mass or Rhode Island, you want to be part of this movie, contact me at jhawk@thehawkstudios.com. Be part of the sponsorship. Get your logo on our backdrop. We can have you on there at the red carpet premiere, guys, and that's what we rely on is our sponsors.
Yeah.
So we're looking for new sponsors again this year. Every year we sell out our sponsorship that goes on the actual backdrop.
Right.
We have interviews going on backstage, right, for the actors. We have in the intermission we have fun facts, trivia about the movie that is playing before we get on there. I go on stage. I invite the actors. We have a good experience, a good talk. We have raffles. We have giveaways. So this is like a grand Hollywood treatment right here on the East Coast. You can't get any better than that. Beautiful thing. So I invite you guys. So follow thehawkstudios.com for the premiere date. You want to be a sponsor, check that out, guys. All the details. You don't want to miss it. You can see Sergeant Miller out there. You can see Tristan out there, all of the actors. And it's not just about one person, guys. This is about a team effort, right? Background extras are there. They have a purpose, right? The crew, the guy ordering the food, right? Everyone, stunts, everything, locations. All of these come into the bigger picture. That's what's beautiful about this amazing adventure is it's not just one person. It's a group of people that make this happen. And that's what we did for this film. And I'm really excited. I'm really pumped. Thanks to the producers, the actors, the crew, everyone. We did it for you. That's what I like to say.
Well, thank you, because it's your idea that got us all into this area.
You see how fired up I am about this. It's all about the people.
But like Joe said, it really is. It becomes a family event. Like everybody, gets along with each other. Everybody's there at the premiere, and it's a lot of fun. Like you say, for the people that are local, that get to meet the actors, get to hear like stories like Marty's telling now. Like they're out there interviewing by different people. So. It's just great. It's a lot of fun. If you get a chance to get to one, definitely do it. If you get a chance to watch the movie, absolutely, because I've been in a bunch of these things. Like I said, his are roller coasters, and you don't know where this is going to stop, or if you're going to go off the coaster. You don't know, because that's just how fun they are. But Tristan, if they want to get in touch, somebody wants to get in touch with you. They see you and they say, "Wow, this guy's a star. I love him." If they want to get in touch with you, what's a good handle to get in touch with you?
Ooh, just my email or Instagram. My Instagram, Tristan Rizzuto, just lowercase, no spaces. Or my email, tristan.rizzuto23@gmail.com. That's where you can find me.
That's where. And Marty, if somebody wants to say, hey, you know what? This is James Bond. Let's get it. So we got him because,
Well, I would love a follow over at Instagram, Marty_Blaze, Blaze BLAYZE. Marty_Blaze, so drop me a follow or check me out, and that'll be probably the easiest way to get to me.
Yep. And we want to hear Joe one more time, just fill it out, because like he says, you could do. First of all, you never know when you go somewhere. I was just a location scout, and somebody couldn't be a CIA agent, so that's how I started, and so it works out. So you never know. You could go there as just, hey, I'm going to go do this, and Joe will say, hey, you're in my next movie. So I'll tell you where do we go?
I'm everywhere, guys. I'm like bird crap. I'm with multiple channels, right? So check us out, guys. I'm on YouTube. Search Hawk Studios. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram, Hawk Studios CT. You can find us on TikTok, Hawk Studios CT. Again, the website is thehawkstudios.com. Trailers, info, all the links to YouTube is all on our website, thehawkstudios.com. Joe Hawk, email is jhawk@thehawkstudios.com. And details about the premiere is all on the website, thehawkstudios.com.
Now we got about 5 minutes, so I'm going to let you three just say what you want to say. What about the movie or whatever? Where to go ahead?
Well, how about maybe we'll start with Marty. How about like maybe the funnest moment, or what stood out, or maybe a memorable thing on set that you can remember, maybe the most fun you had, or maybe a moment on set, or laugh, anything like that stands out?
Yeah, I mean, which one do I pick? There's quite a bit. I tell you, we always have a blast. I mean, I always have a blast on the set, and actually, you know, when it's over and it's like, man, you get the blues because you really do miss it. You really miss being out there on you know, behind the camera. But you know, I love the scene where we did the locker room scene. You know, that was a nice fight scene there, and you know, so that was a whole lot of fun there. Can't wait to see how that turns out. And then, of course, you know, when we were filming there in front of the bombers, you know, with you know, Sergeant Major Barry first got introduced with Miller, talking about that whole deal with you know, don't obey that order. That's not a good order. So you know, that was a lot of fun. I mean, look, the whole movie was you know, the whole experience was a blast, and you know, I can't wait to see this finished product. But I mean, it's just one memorable moment after another there. So thank you for allowing that to happen.
100%.
Now, Tristan, in Holy Mass, I think you had maybe 2 or 3 scenes. You're the mercenary. Like, what stood out for you? Like, what was the most fun you had over there?
The most fun? I'm not gonna lie, it's not even one of my scenes. It's actually the fight scene between Dan's brother. I know what you're talking. You know what I'm trying to say. And mercenary Jasmine.
Jasmine, yeah. Oh,
I remember. Even just like being you know, behind the cameras, just seeing it in action was incredible. Incredible. And I was just there in awe. I was flabbergasted. I was just seeing this entire thing. The breakaway plates and just, you know.
What are you talking about? They were real plates.
Spoil it. But it was just an incredible experience. Just like, you know, behind the camera and in front of it. It was just
you know,
an absolute, you know, incredible experience for everybody, you know. And you know, like Marty said, you know, you get the blues once you know, shooting is done, but you know, great experience, man.
It was, you know, and then shout out to my girl Stacy. She played Jasmine. She's from Hawaii. She came from Hawaii to be on set in Mass. I mean, we have people in this film, guys. The outreach is incredible. Cast members from Connecticut, Mass, Rhode Island, Florida, California, New York, UK.
Such a diverse.
It's just everywhere, right? Yeah. So the cast are all coming to these different scenes. I mean, all around the world, guys. We're an international indie film. We went to London. We filmed. International indie film is hard to really place. You can't name a handful of indie films at that level that are international indie films. And we did it, guys. Incredible journey, guys. So thanks to everyone in the room and to everyone in the film. And everyone watching. Our viewers are important, too. So thanks for our viewers here as well. That's mostly important as well. So kudos to everyone. This was a great fun project.
That's a great night to have you. You know, I was glad I finally got to track Joe down. I was like, wow, this guy's all over the place. He's, like you said, he's always thinking about the next thing or setting up the next set somewhere, doing something. So to get him to, you know, come in for an hour, we really appreciate that. As far as everybody else, it's a compliment to the people you are. You guys are true talents, all of you. It's been a pleasure, you know, to have you on tonight. It's, you know, and hopefully we get you guys on again, you know, right before, because February is a little ways away. I know it's going to be coming quick, but we'd love to have you guys on again, maybe right before or maybe after the premiere, you know, because we can talk about that and show actually what a blast that really is.
An honor.
So, so it'd be 100%. Fun. And, you know, John and I will be on next week again, right, doing our thing again. So, but we appreciate these guys coming on. Again, the name of the movie, Article 92. You can go on Hawk Studios, check out Joe's other movies, and you actually see, you know, how the progress is being built up to, you know, the different movies. It's great, and like I said, it's always something. It's always a pleasure, and we thank him for coming on. But we want to say tonight, you know, definitely say a prayer for somebody else tonight because they're probably going to need it. God bless these guys. Thank you again for coming on, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you,
for having us.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye now.